And pull back up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Fox Eye Care. It is a Tuesday morning. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling right here on your home for Alabama sports. We got a lot to get into. This is kind of the craziest time of covering sports for the capstone or any sport, but especially in Tuscaloosa. We have basketball, men and women's. We have baseball and softball and gymnastics and and spring practice, all happening at the same time. So we'll try to do some rapid fire and get in there and get DC Capstone Report joins us on this Tuesday. So we'll get his thoughts on Bama hoops and review and preview of Saturday's devastating loss and big opportunity to immediately rebound as they sit at number 7 in the latest poll. I had someone ask me why Alabama fall and Auburn didn't. I'm like, for the number of losses, I'm not sure sitting at number 7 is a bad gig. What seed were we last year? Were we? Because maybe this team needs a chip on their shoulder. Maybe they need some adversity. It's this. Last year, coming out as a 4 seed, made a run to the championship Final Four. So maybe this team needs a little bit of adversity, something to spark them. So we'll look at that. As I said, we'll look at football. We'll try to add a little bit of audio from Coach DeBoer, and I think it should be the Alabama MASH Tide. Had sound like a MASH unit when he was starting off practice with the list of injured players. We'll have a little bit of that audio. here in a moment as well. But yeah, just a lot of guys. Some of those injuries, or at least one of them, concerns me more than all the others, and I'll share why here in a moment. But also, the board tells us a little bit of what he expects from his quarterbacks. You may have heard that at the beginning of the program as we were coming on the air. But it's a lot to get to, man. It's so much good stuff. Get DC's thoughts on identity for this team and leadership for this team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So remember that this is the day that the Lord truly has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. So take some time to be a difference maker today. All right. Good morning, DC. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing great this morning. How you doing this morning, Martin?
Doing well, doing well. Now, do you have any direction you want to get the basketball conversation out of the way so we can spend the rest of the time talking football, unless our audience takes us back into basketball?
Yeah, I'm go any way you want to go, but basketball seems like a great place to start right now with what's going on.
Yeah. So, DC, get your thoughts really quick from Saturday's devastating. Unfortunately, Bama did everything right for 39 minutes and 29.4 seconds. That last 30 seconds, we had about as many miscues as you could have from. I'll let you talk about them, and then I'll address them. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking when you say devastating loss, you picked a perfect word for it because we had the victory. We had it in our grasp. We could smell it, taste it, see it, and played a great game for, like you said, the bigger part of the entire game with the final 30 seconds. And there's enough blame to go around. And I think it was we lost our focus. Players lost their focus. The coaches lost their focus. It didn't make sense to me. We gave Tennessee every opportunity to win that game, and they had this continue to win it. They had to shoot a magnificent, not taking anything away from the Tennessee player, magnificent 25-foot shot there, wonderful. He did a great job, and they deserved to win based on where they were at that time. But they should have never got to that position. And so I think when you break it down, there's a lot to learn from there. The players, coaches, everybody. From the free throw line to the fouling, the allowing them to jump in the lane, us having lane violations. Just that doesn't make sense. And then you still got a chance to win with the ball, and can't get the ball in bounds, and you got a freshman player trying to get the ball in bounds, and anytime I've ever played, anytime I've ever coached, you got a coach on the sideline who's counting, and when he gets to 4, he calls timeout if he got timeout left. So it was unheard of to me why we didn't call timeout, why the coaches didn't call timeout there.
Do you think it's possible that was a quick one, or because just speaking on that one aspect of it,
it's possible, but Martin, I don't think that if you now just hear me out in games that I've played in myself or games that we have coached. I've always had one individual coach on the sideline that's their job, especially when it's critical and it's in the last seconds of the game, and you got to get the ball in before we ever go out. When they watch, and whether it's a fast count or a slow count, when that arm gets to 4, immediately call timeout. That's their job, and so I just don't know why that didn't take place in this game.
Yeah, and for me in that situation, you call it at 3. I mean, you because you make your first move. To me, it's you make the first play, whatever that design is. If that's not open, you call timeout because you see how they're going to play you.
Yes,
and then
exactly right.
You don't even wait on the official. You literally make that first move, and if it's not there, you call timeout. So,
exactly
but
right.
The other part, DC, were you shocked that we didn't go with the bigger guy
at
any point during that game because they had showed their hand in terms of that that particular play.
I was definitely shocked that we didn't go with a better lineup there, or the bigger lineup, the bigger guy taking the ball out of bounds. I mean,
Or a veteran.
A more seasoned veteran. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you put that on a freshman, LeBaron Filan there. He'd be much better if you want him in the game on the floor, getting in position to make a shot than throwing the ball in.
Yeah.
Because you don't, in my opinion, they'd already tipped their hand, as you said, that what they're gonna do on the ball and how they're gonna guard, and so you got somebody big enough to get the ball in, and when all else fails, get the ball up, get in the back court.
Yeah, because what Tennessee forced us to do was we couldn't throw a straight line hard pass.
Right.
So even when we threw the ball in with that type of lineup in the way they played it, our passes had a chance to steal even the right pass because they were all looped and they could recover. Even when the guy was open, they could recover. And they did that about 3 or 4 times. We had messed up on that. We had, I think, 2 or 3 turnovers on the inbound play from the same spot.
And again, that's why I don't understand why we weren't more prepared.
Yeah.
We'd already faced this before. And so, the blame is to go around there, players, coaches, everybody. I mean, there's mistakes from not getting the right people in the game, not having the right person throwing the ball in, and not being able to call timeout on the coach's side. And then there's mistakes on the player side as well. So
let me ask you this, DC, because I want to, because another thing, and of course this is hindsight. We're always smarter when we get to review it than in the moment. When we're up 4, do you foul or let them get the 2? Because the reality of it is, it's going to be 1. You're going to have a chance. You're going to have a 2-point lead with the ball, and they're either going to foul you or you're going to get the last shot, and you have a 2-point lead. So they're going to foul.
Yeah.
And that's what changed the game. When Filan missed that first free throw and we went up by 4, if we just play and then let them score and we're inbounding the ball, then we have the ball with a 2-point lead. But instead, they missed the free throw. We don't get in the lane. I mean, so it was so many things that went chaotic, and it was crazy. And then to not put pressure on the ball at all with 3 seconds to go, and to let him, it was a long shot. It was a difficult shot, but that's not as difficult as it used to be. That used to be a big deal when somebody hit a shot from that. People take that shot in rhythm in the craziness of today's game. So any pressure on the ball would have been a difference maker. Closing thoughts, close out this first quarter. All right, we'll be back on the other side. We'll get Alan and Pat in with DC today. You can get in on it on the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Hotline, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904, or you can add your thoughts, comments, and reactions on the live stream chat. We will have some football conversation on the other side. If you have some thoughts, questions, reactions, please just go ahead and prepare them, type them in, or call us up and let us hear from you. That's Empowerment Strategies and Solutions Hotline. We speak, we coach, we train, and we assess behavior.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good Tuesday morning to you. And with that being said, Tuesdays a lot of times bring a lot of traffic, but right now you're pretty calm and A-OK. McFarland, I'm looking at the eastbound lanes at Lurleen Wallace. Now that is a little stop and go-ish right now as you make your way around that stoplight. That's all you have to worry about for now. Skyland Boulevard looking good between 2059 and 359. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by True Green.
Townsend Nissan has new 2025 Sentras for only $21,990, full of safety equipment, and the #1 selling SUV, the 2025 Rogue, starting at only $29,990.
We're back in the miller's yard, who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers made it their favorite stuff. Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
The Venue, your new favorite Tuscaloosa hangout, food, music, and more. Come and taste what's new at The Venue, whether it's Liza's Sweet Shop, whether it's the all-day breakfast and burgers from Ramajamas, or the quality food that you can get at Finish Pub. Great atmosphere, great time, great people, great environment. That's The Venue. You can find them online at thevenuetuscaloosa.com, located off of Watermelon Road, just past Sokol Park. That's The Venue, Tuscaloosa's new favorite hangout. Make it yours.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Oh, you want your best deal? Shop Townsend Nissan. Up to $9,000 in savings on every 24 Armada and Titan in stock. 24 model Murano save $7,500 instantly, or take 0% for up to 72 months. And yes, 2025 Sentra start at $21,990 and payments are as low as $349 a month. Wow, Townsend Nissan, the #1 Nissan volume dealer, here with more super savings like new Versa sedan starting at $20,995. Well equipped. Buy local. It matters. Shop Townsend Nissan.
We're back in the miller's yard, who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers made it their favorite stuff. Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details. We're back in the miller's yard, who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers made it their favorite stuff. Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
We have a wind advisory in effect through tonight, becoming windy. Clouds increasing today, the high 73. Maybe some shower activity by late afternoon. Tonight, windy with a few showers and thunderstorms. Storms could be strong to severe, the low 51. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 50 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
On the updates with some guys injury-wise, so I'll just read off the ones that will be out for the spring. A couple guys that are limited to, and a couple that are full go. Alex Asparuhoff, he'll be out. David Bird will be out. Long snapper punt. Bubba Hampton will be out. Cavante Henry, Damani Jackson, Deontay Lawson, Danny Lewis, Keon Sabb, and then we have some guys that are limited, really just to Indy only, and non-contact, and Justin Jefferson, Caden Proctor, James Smith. So a lot of those, pretty much most of those injuries, all just from last season still, and expected. So nothing new there from our standpoint. I know it's probably new for you, but good to get out there. Practice one comes and goes fast. Guys did a nice job, workmanlike mentality, just out there trying to do what they can. I think just like they have been the first 6-7 weeks of training.
All right, that is without a doubt, that is your new coach at Alabama. Yeah. So, excuse me. That was Coach DeBoer giving some insight into the scrimmage and the practices there. Who's out, who's in. So we'll break that down in just a moment. And so if you have some thoughts, comments on the injuries, we'll get to that in just a moment. I have some concerns over a few of those injuries, but one more than others. So, but DC, we'll get to those injuries, the injury report. But the Caden Proctor, it has huge concern on Martin's part, and we'll talk more about that. But we do have a couple callers who have been patient And so we'll get to them. Alan, you're in with DC and Martin. What's on your mind?
What's going on, Martin? What's going on, DC?
Doing good, Alan.
I was looking at that 5 seconds y'all was talking about. I'm in agreement. At 3, you call timeout. Once again, you stop the ball coming up the court. That's the first thing. We talked about that yesterday. And another thing is, two more things. The other thing is, leave. I mean, it was just bad judgment call. We definitely want to keep Nate Oates in town. Leave him alone. Hey, it is what it is. You're not going to win all the game. Leave the man alone. Hell, give him an extension as far as I'm concerned.
That's right.
That's. But what I wanted to say was this. I'm looking at the top 4 right there. If Bama gets in the top 4, let's say they did get in the top 4, we all know Auburn's getting the number 1 seed. They're going to be in the South. We know Duke going to get the number 1 seed. They're going to be in the East. And with Houston, where they're at, they're going to be in the Midwest. So that would put Bama out there in the West as the number 1 seed. So did it really hurt us by dropping down with a number 2 seed? We may still get the South with a number 2 seed. Being the highest number 2 seed there is. So did it really hurt us? I mean, obviously it hurt us by playing the game, but do we want a number 1 seed? Because we're definitely not going to get in the South. We're not going to get nowhere around here. We have to be in the West because Midwest is going to be Houston. Duke could get the East. So what's left open? The West.
Yeah. DC.
Yeah, some good points, Alan. I still would like to have a 1 seed because I'd like the team going into the Final Four without having to run into one of these other top 4 teams. Here's my question for you, Alan, and for Martin, and you both can see what you think about this. Is it possible? We talk about this 1 seed, or are we dropping down to 2 seeds? But in reality, is it possible that the 4 best teams in the tournament are all from the Southeastern Conference? Is it possible that Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, and Alabama are your best 4 teams, and they are the ones that should get the 1 seed? But that's never going to happen.
Never going to happen. So,
never going to happen. But is that possible that they're the 4 best teams? And wherever you play, will Alabama, will Auburn, will Tennessee, Florida, will any of those 4 teams have a stretch run of the teams that they've had to play in the top of the SEC? I don't think so. I think this year we'll never see teams that good. And Alabama's already beaten. I think Alabama and Auburn both have already beaten Houston, right?
Yeah.
You're right. I totally agree with you on that.
So Houston, why are we going to give Houston a nod when they beat everybody else, but they can't beat 2 of the teams in the SEC that they played?
I totally agree with you on that.
I'm saying it'll never happen, but I'm saying the truth is, there's things that are true. It'll never happen, but the truth is the 4 best teams are probably Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida.
Let me ask you this, and why you can come in on it. Is it though possible if we don't get stuck with Auburn? Is it really bad if we end up as a number 2 per se?
No.
Let's say we get on the 1 line. Okay. The only team that we're gonna avoid that we may end up having to play would be Auburn or Duke, right? Because we play Houston and Tennessee if they end up as the other number 1s. So the question, what my concern is, Alabama put themselves in a position that the NCAA could make sure that there's not a State of Alabama national championship Final Four showdown between Alabama and Auburn. I just don't trust them. I believe that they will put Alabama in the bracket with Auburn. Thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the West goes, as far as the South goes, and that would end up, as a number 2 seed, that would happen. They'll put both of them in the South, and that most likely will make them a number that would make it where they would have to play each other. Because just being real with it, the SEC, Alabama and Auburn, they're new at this. People want to see, according to Vegas, people want to see the Blue Bloods. They want to see Duke make it. That's just the way it is. People want to see Duke make it, no matter what they do. They want to see North Carolina. They want to see the Kansas. They want to see the Kentucky. But it's unfortunate, and not unfortunate, but it's just the way it is this year. The only one that's going to have even a decent chance by looking at things right now is Duke. So they're going to give Duke all the praise. They're going to give Duke as much leeway as they can to get to the Final Four. When that bracket comes out, you look for Duke to have an easy way to go.
DC Wyatt, what your thoughts are?
My thoughts are dropping the second 2 seed is a way for the NCAA to put Alabama and Auburn together so they won't be meeting in the Final Four. And I just see that happening, and that's the reason I think it's critical for Alabama to win these next 2 ball games. If they do, there's no way they keep them out of a 1 seed. And we have a chance to do that. We can beat Florida. We can beat Auburn. We can beat both of those teams. We've shown we can. We just got to play our best game.
DC, we had the conversation yesterday. I don't think they'll put Alabama in front of Tennessee unless we beat Tennessee in the championship or Tennessee drops one of their last 2 losses. I think, it'll be a conversation, but Wyatt, your thoughts?
I don't think they'd put us like in the same bracket. Like, Auburn's the 1, we're the 2 in the same region. I think they would put it in a way where they're gonna meet in the Final Four, because you already saw it was record-breaking television when they met in Coleman Coliseum. They're expecting record-breaking television in Auburn this weekend. They're going to want that on the biggest stage. They're going to want that type of basketball. 2 of the greatest coaches in the country this year. One of them's probably going to win Coach of the Year in Bruce Pearl. Nate Oates is also phenomenal at what he does, especially if Alabama wins the SEC. I think they put it to a point where you're going to get that matchup in the Final Four, not the national championship. There's too many different factors that could play into that, but I think they would line it up and say, look, Iron Bowl of basketball that Saturday, that first Saturday of April. There's not many other things a lot of people would rather watch.
Hey, y'all know Wyatt is younger than us, right? Y'all know Wyatt.
Yeah.
Wyatt has not lived long enough to distrust the NCAA.
Wyatt has not seen the NCAA pose Alabama like we have seen them.
Hey, Wyatt, some of us go back to the days when or our parents or our the generation before us when in football Alabama would have a chance, and they would totally go somewhere else with the national title. We remember
when the best 2 teams in basketball were Indiana and Alabama, and we had to play Indiana in the Sweet 16. So yeah, we do remember that one.
Yeah, that's that was one of Wimp's years, Wyatt. So I get it, and it was good TV, and maybe money has changed it enough, Wyatt, that they would do that. But us old heads are probably a little more skeptical than you. But it would be. It's literally, if Alabama wins Saturday, Wyatt, and it's another one of those cat fights, dog fights, elephant stomps, whatever you want to call it, then I could possibly see what you're talking about. Especially if somehow they didn't meet in the SEC tournament, right? If they meet in the SEC tournament and then it's 2-1, it may not be as big a draw. I think it would be a bigger draw if Alabama wins Saturday and then they don't play each other. And let's say that Auburn somehow loses and Alabama wins the SEC. Man, you're talking about I think Alabama, that's the only way I think Alabama ends up a 1 seed, though, is win Wednesday, win Saturday, win SEC tournament. Then you're going to have a hard time keeping them off of one line, I think, in that scenario, because they would have bested in tournament play. They would have bested Auburn and Tennessee, regardless if they played head-to-head. So that would have been.
But Mark, let me ask you a question, Mark. What reason do you put them in if they do that? You're not knocking Auburn off the number 1, the South. What reason did you put Bama in there? You're not knocking Duke off. You're not off the East. You put them in the Midwest.
They very well.
They have to go.
They may bump Houston out further. Then
bump Houston out of the Midwest because
Yep.
I think they bump Houston out of the Midwest because Alabama's beat Houston and Auburn beat Houston.
Yeah. I think they would.
Now, I can see that.
If Alabama went on that run, they would bump Houston. And based on what Duke does down the stretch, I guess Duke could potentially lose this week as well, and then you might see an Alabama being in. But I think
No, forget that. No, Duke said what they are. The Vegas ain't gonna let them go nowhere. If he ain't letting them go nowhere, we get that one right there.
I'm gonna tell you what they really want to see as well. To Wyatt's point, you talking about Houston is kind of the anomaly. Houston is boring basketball and all of that. I think they're going to give Houston the toughest path because Houston against any of those three. That Houston against Tennessee, you're gonna watch a football game. Houston against Alabama, we've seen that before, and there's nothing special about it. Houston against Duke, nothing special about it. But Houston against Auburn, nothing special about it. You look at Alabama and Auburn, you have the Iron Bowl. You look at Duke and Auburn, you have the Player of the Year candidates. So. That'd be so that will because he bested Auburn in the head. Duke did, so it'd be interesting to watch. Thanks, man. All right, hey, we're gonna go ahead and get Pat because we want to end the basketball conversation. So on the other side, we can get into a little football. Pat, you're in with Martin and DC. What's on your mind?
Hey, DC. What are the keys to victory with a Florida game? And one other question: have you heard any updates on Jalen Hale's progression?
Well, I'll just go right to Jalen Hale. I did hear that he was progressing pretty nicely and was able to do some things, and that the coaches were encouraged by what he was able to do. So I think that's a positive. On Alabama's keys to victory, I think they're against Florida is that they got to play the big men. They've got to play and get rebounds. I think rebounding is going to be big in that game, and that they've got to win the boards and they got to win the turnover game. If they do that and they can hit their threes, then I think Alabama wins that game. And I think the crowd's going to be big and important. Need them. Alabama's always good coming off a loss where they can learn something from it, and I think they do that and beat Florida.
Well, that's what I was wondering about with a midweek game. Are we going to field Coleman?
Yeah, I think we will. I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't field it against the Florida team. So I think we should.
I hope so.
The only thing you got is any students who are going to leave early for spring break, which starts at the end of the week. I think they'll stick around for this game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a packed house. Thanks, Pat. DC, who you got in those two games? Since we won't get to you till after the selection has happened.
Well, on those two games, I believe Alabama beats Florida. I really do. I really think we can do that and bounce back. And people are going to think I'm crazy, but I think Alabama can go on the road at Auburn and beat Auburn. I really believe that. So I think Alabama wins these next two games.
What's the key to beating these? You talked a little bit about Florida. What about how does Alabama beat Auburn? What do they have to do different this time versus what they did here in Coleman?
Well, they're going to put their defense is going to have to be better, and I think that they saw that when they played in Coleman. We had everything. We had the entire thing of offense going, but we didn't have the defense, and I think we're going to have defense better. And I believe in these last few games we played, our defense has kind of picked up and done well. But we're going to have to do the same things we did in the game here. Plus, we've got to increase our defense and play better on their ball players.
Auburn just beat Kentucky, and Janai Broome had 9 points. The three guards had 70-something points. So, will a guard be the player of the game for Alabama?
Yeah, I think it'll have to be. It'll have to be a guard that'll have to be the player of the game for Alabama, no doubt about it.
What is Grant's stat line? Can we win with Grant's current stat line, or will we need more from him?
I think we're going to need more from Grant down the stretch. Definitely in the tournament. I don't know. He seems to disappear against Auburn for some reason, and I don't know
He
why.
done disappeared against everybody this year, but other than Kentucky. So
it seems like he's got something in his mind against Auburn. I don't know whether he's intimidated by Johnny Broom or he's concentrating on something other than scoring. But it seems like he is.
All right. Coming back on the other side, DC, we'll get your thoughts on spring practice, man. It is up on us. We'll be back in just a moment to keep the conversation rolling as we kick off the second half.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good Tuesday morning to you. And with that being said, Tuesdays a lot of times bring a lot of traffic, but right now you're pretty calm and A-OK. McFarland, I'm looking at the eastbound lanes at Lurleen Wallace. Now that is a little stop and go-ish right now as you make your way around that stoplight. That's all you have to worry about for now. Skyland Boulevard looking good between 2059 and 359. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
Visit the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at midtown.com. TJ and his team are looking for the opportunity to provide you with great services, including compound, home delivery, and a whole lot more. You're looking for a great pharmacy that'll take care of all of your needs, including wellness classes, including health, and more. That's the pharmacy at Midtown. Call them at 205-579-9933. If you're looking for a great pharmacy, you need to try the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at Midtown. Pharmacy at midtown.com.
On your feet, on your knees, Blue Oyster Cult is back. Live in concert. Saturday, March 15th at Pearl River Resort Silver Star Convention Center. All the hard rock anthems of Blue Oyster Cult. Tickets on sale now at pearlriverresort.com. Feel the thunder of Blue Oyster Cult.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Dixie Battery Supply takes care of all of your battery needs. Find the commercial batteries you're after and never feel powerless again. Come check out our Northport and Tuscaloosa locations or call us at 205-758-9190. And once again, power up all your devices by using Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com. They offer reconditioned batteries starting at $39.99, and you'll find all the batteries you need. And don't forget to ask us about our golf carts. That's DixieBatterySupply.com.
Upgrade your driving experience at BMW of Tuscaloosa. A new BMW means quality, class, and sophistication. And it comes with a 4-year warranty and 3 years of maintenance. Visit them today and discover why so many drivers have already made the switch. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle you can trust? At BMW of Tuscaloosa, their transparent, no-haggle process ensures peace of mind. Plus, every pre-owned vehicle is reconditioned to meet the highest standards. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
I think.
Try this honey trick tonight, and tomorrow you'll.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We have DC Capstone Report in with us. Glad to have you on and glad to have you as a part of what we're doing. We're going to hear a little audio from Coach here in just a moment. But before we do that, DC, we have a caller, Raymond, that wants to talk about the docuseries. So we'll get that conversation before we get into spring ball. Raymond, what you got for us?
Thanks a lot. Great show y'all have this morning. I just wondered on that 6-part docuseries, The Tide That Binds, what kind of money passed hands, whether it went to the university or to the football team, or what kind of money passed hands and to who got it?
DC, you want to respond? I don't. Go ahead.
Well, I don't have any details on that, but I know the people behind it that are making it, producing it. So I'm assuming that money would flash through the athletic department, not to the university. I think it would also be part of the Yeah Alabama, so that the players who are highlighted in there, they specifically get a portion of that through the NIL funds as well. That's how normal contracts of that nature are drafted.
Yeah, and I would say, Raymond, to me, I don't know if you know the executive producer is Caleb Castile.
Right. Yeah, I know the two guys that came up with the idea to put it together. I just wondered, it's been pretty quiet about, what kind of money, if it was in the millions that they paid for it, or how the money moved on it.
Yeah, I would say that in the new era of today, the executive producer made a little money. Fox is making money off of the commercials.
Yep.
And the players it probably didn't go to a specific player. It probably, to DC's point, probably fed the Yeah Alabama. I wouldn't know that for sure though.
I will also say the exposure is good, right? Because the exposure gets these athletes more deals and gets the university more money. And if this thing does really well, which I've been watching it, I really enjoyed these episodes. I loved what they talked about with Wilkin and the reaction and his family seeing the reaction after the South Florida game. And if this continues and the exposure is good from this, there may be another one coming if this continues to be a positive trend.
I think Alabama is a trendsetter. Listen, Wyatt, you're not old enough once again to know this. When we won the national championship in 1992, Sports Illustrated came out with a cover that had Valvano on it and not us as national champions. They didn't even you remember that, Raymond? I
remember.
They didn't acknowledge that we won a national championship on Sports Illustrated. And
they didn't.
And people went off and they came out with a commemorative issue. Well, guess what they started doing from that point on?
Commemorative issues.
They had commemorative issues, Wyatt, because they saw, oh my goodness, look at how much money we made by putting a special issue. And I think, to your point, Wyatt, you're going to see the same thing with the docuseries, because Fox is probably looking and going, hold on, Alabama is one of the smallest TV markets in the world, and look at how many people are watching this and talking about it and getting. I guarantee you, their streaming subscriptions have gone up astronomical compared to what it was before. And
right,
did you have Fox before, Wyatt? Fox Nation?
I did not. And now I'm paying $7.99 a month for it. So
there you go, baby. So
they at least made $8 off of this.
But everybody's talking about it, Ryan. I mean, Wyatt. Go ahead, DC.
No, I would disagree, and everybody. I think Fox is making money. That's one thing we know for sure. And I'm sure the Castiles are making money, but I really think it's going to why is on point. I think it's going to be a trend that again Alabama's setting a trend setter, just like we've done in many things before.
Well, in '92 they had to run special press to cover off the requirements for the magazine in '92 on the commemorative edition of Sports Illustrated.
Yep.
Yeah. Then it became a norm after that.
Yep.
Sure did. It became a product line. Thanks, Raymond. That's good insight. I had not thought about that, but and Wyatt, once again, any exposure that these guys get, there's people. Two things that's happening. Now, I've not watched the series, but I've seen some of the highlights and different things like that. And to me, I think it's given the fans probably a totally different new respect for what these players go through. Because compared to what I go through, they go through a lot. Like we when we did something or something happened in our day, you didn't have to worry about it being on 1,000 different outlets and everybody retweeting it and all of that. And you didn't have to worry about, you could just turn your TV off. Right. You didn't have a AI phone listening to you. And if somebody think about Wilkin. What do you think hit in his feed, DC and Wyatt, after that game? Because everybody was probably talking to him, hey, man, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So every time he and his family talked about it, when he would pick up his phone, I mean, it had to be rough.
I agree.
It had to be rough.
And Martin, what can you imagine what would have happened if you'd had social media in 1992 and they'd have been following David Palmer? Can you imagine what would have happened with your team?
It would have been. That's what I'm saying. It's a totally different world. So hopefully it gives us as fans a better understanding of what these guys go through. Has it done that for you, Wyatt? Since you've watched it, do you have a new level of respect for these guys?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about the Vanderbilt game, right? How much we were just dogging them that Monday and Tuesday. And I get it from a former player perspective. You maybe weren't going in as hard as a lot of people were, but I mean, everybody had negative comments after that Vanderbilt game, right? But then you go watch this docuseries and you hear Kalen DeBoer and you hear this team talk about, hey, like, we can't fall asleep against Vanderbilt. Like, they tried. And so seeing the amount of work, seeing the amount of effort, we already know, as a former player, Christian knows as a former player, the work and the effort that goes into getting ready every week. But the casual fans, and even myself being a new media member, still don't quite grasp this idea that, no, they're working. Like, they didn't beat Georgia and then take a week off and then lose to Vanderbilt. Like, they kept working. They kept going. They probably worked even harder after that Georgia week to make sure they didn't have a trap against Vanderbilt. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So I am really enjoying seeing the work and the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And I'm a sucker for that type of content. Like, seeing all the work, seeing all the behind the scenes. I absolutely love that stuff.
Yep. Hey, DC, I'm gonna get you to respond to this audio on the other side as we go. We'll let Kalen DeBoer take us to break, talking about Grubb and him working potentially with the offensive line.
I think Coach Grubb will always still be involved with the quarterbacks. I just am a strong believer that your play caller has to be around the quarterbacks. But on your note, you're very right. It allows him to just do what you want a coordinator to do, and that's oversee every position. And he certainly has a lot of history and background with the offensive line. So I think there's eyes that start in certain spots when you're a coordinator beyond just the quarterback. And I think a lot of times his eyes, he can see it all. He can see him line up on the perimeter, but he also really is feeling and seeing and has that intuition on what's going on up front with the offensive line. So, that's really good with he and Coach Cap.
We'll be back on the other side to keep the conversation rolling.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on the Gary Harris Show. Alabama football practice is underway for the spring of 2025. Kale DeVore met with the media on Monday. We'll have his comments for you. Also, Drew DeArmond, the Rocket Man, and a big professional wrestling event coming to Tuscaloosa. I'll have details on that, plus your phone calls Tuesday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Traffic is starting to slow down just a bit for your Tuesday morning commute, specifically on University Boulevard at the Skyland Boulevard merger. And also moving inside the construction zone. We're not doing too shabby, but on the westbound lanes of 2059, just before Joe Malisham, that is a little on the slower side now. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by True Green.
Townsend Nissan has new 2025 Sentras for only $21,990, full of safety equipment, and the number one selling SUV, the 2025 Rogue, starting at only $29,990.
We're back in the miller's yard, who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers made it their favorite stop. Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
Did you know that 90% of the lawyers you see or hear advertised aren't even in Alabama?
Just think about that. I used this guy, Stephen Mesrano, twice because he did what no other lawyers could do. He won for me, and he can win for you. Mez wins.
Thanks, guys. I'm attorney Stephen Mesrano, and I win. Call me, 205-800-8000, and let me fight for you. And when you call, you'll actually talk to me. 205-800-8000. I've got this.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This week's Half Price Seize the Deal offer is for Jake's Soul Food Cafe at 3615 McFarland Boulevard, your new go-to spot for hearty Southern comfort food. Craving smoky jerk chicken, crispy fried catfish, creamy mac and cheese, or their famous cabbage, they got you covered. For $12.50, you can get $25 in food at Jake's Soul Food Cafe. This Seize the Deal will be available starting Friday morning at 8. For more details about this incredible offer, log on to seizethedeal.com/cities/Tuscaloosa.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
We're back in the miller's yard, who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers made it their favorite stop. Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We have DC Capstone Report in DC. I'll let you respond to that audio we had where Coach DeBoer was talking about Grubb's ability. How important is it that with what we've seen from our O-line play and, going all the way back to Bryce, we've been giving up, I think, over 40 sacks, and we had as good a guy in the pocket with Bryce and as elusive a runner as we've ever seen with Milroe, but yet our sack numbers were through the roof. How big a deal is it that an offensive coordinator understands quarterback play, but also understand O-line play and their ability?
I think it's huge. I think you heard in that little clip there of what Ryan Grubb brings to the table as an offensive coordinator, an overall offensive coordinator, not somebody that's just going to stick with the quarterbacks, not somebody that's going to call plays, but somebody that knows how the plays develop from the line to the running backs to the wide receivers to the quarterback, and it has a big picture. That's what we've needed. And we need a offensive coordinator that realizes how the line's got to play in order for everything else to work, and stop being so compartmentalized so that you're in silos and don't know how everything else is working on the field. A cohesive offensive coordinator brings everybody together, and I think that's really exciting. I guess my unfortunate part of it is the injuries are going to cause us not to even have all of our linemen for him to put his stamp on. And I think in the spring practice is when he has the most time to devote to that type of thing.
Is
that? So I think it's unfortunate.
Is that as unfortunate? To me, it's kind of a double whammy. I think we need to find somebody that can play left tackle other than Caden Proctor, because Caden Proctor to me, unless he's made some drastic improvement, the kid's not a left tackle. He has the body height and stuff of a left tackle, but unless his feet have gotten better, I'm concerned with him missing another spring. But on the flip side of that same coin, I'm hoping we find somebody else that can push him, that can play it at a high level.
Who we got? What are the options there? I mean, I don't know that they have.
I think
I think they may have one option, but what's the two? I don't even think they have two options.
Well, I think Olaf played it, but what's the option? Who knows? It can't be. Guys, we answer this. In the last 2 years, have we played winning football at left tackle?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So the option we had wasn't winning football. I think Olaf has played it. Carroll played it a little bit yesterday. They said that the kid from Texas A&M has a little work to do. So I don't know which direction they go, but I'm just saying that I'm glad some reps are getting seen. Other guys are getting reps if he's going to be the shoe-in. That's the only positive to him not playing is what I was trying to communicate, DC.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I just think that Ryan Grubb being able to work with him in the spring is valuable, and whoever's there will get a lot of attention, I think, because he knows that they've been the weakest link. Don't
be surprised if Carroll doesn't find his way out there, and the kid from Brookwood, Williams is having, I think this is his last name. The kid from Brookwood is having a great spring, and I think he's more aligning with that athletic type of offensive lineman. So don't be surprised if he don't end up at that guard position, and Carroll gets a chance to kick out. He got a few reps yesterday. Closing thoughts, DC, about 30 seconds.
Well, I think that this spring is key, seeing what Ryan Grubb can do, and I think Kalen DeBoer is excited. I heard it in his voice yesterday, and it makes me excited. We should all be excited about Alabama football this year.
All right, hey, that's DC Capstone Report, sponsored by Karen Cottingham, Keller Williams, also RollTideBama.com and FreelancePitches.com brings them to us every week. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. We'll be back tomorrow to have some more of this audio from Coach and catch DC Capstone Report as well at DCCapstoneReport.com. Roll Tide, everybody.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports.